This is the Said No One Ever podcast.
A podcast about things you never knew you wanted to hear about.
I'm Ian Bennett.
And I'm Martin Moore.
Let's get into it.
Welcome to another episode of the Said No One Ever podcast. I'm Martin Moore.
I'm Ian Bennett in the building.
Dude, episode 8.
Dang.
I just want to thank all of the people that have been listening,
Yes.
Who have left reviews
Love
on
it.
Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google and I don't know, wherever else you can get our podcast. God bless you. Thank you for leaving the kind reviews and turning on automatic downloads and getting our new episodes every one day. It means a lot.
And then you, is that? Oh, okay. And then honestly, I was just like, dang, I was like, something's vibrating. No, but then awesome. And if you're not listening and writing reviews, you need to do it. You need to check this out because we need to make this the biggest show in Wisconsin, right?
In the world, Ian.
Oh, you want to go in the world? I want to conquer Wisconsin first. I want to, and then, we got to conquer first.
We'll conquer the Midwest. Let's set that.
Hey, dude, but I got to tell you, I had a sleepover, okay? I'm over.
You did or your girls did?
No, my girls did. Okay,
I was gonna say you're a little old for a sleepover,
right? Yeah, me and my buddies, we had a sleepover. We played video games, right? No, honestly, that sounds pretty good. But no, listen, my daughters, right? So I'm a single dad right now. Wifey's out. She's having a girls trip. She's doing her thing. So I'm like this. So I hold it down. You know me, a little cocky attitude. I'm like, I got this. We're gonna have a sleepover. We're gonna do everything, dude. These girls were terrors. Loud. They ate bad. They were up till 3 a.m. I almost lost my mind. And I had to keep my composure. So I was like, you know what? I didn't yell. I didn't do anything. I just tried to go to bed. 3 a.m.
You should have just camped out in your backyard.
Dude, I'm over sleepovers. Done. I woke up in the morning. They were passed out still. And you know what? Wait till I get home. It's done. It is done. No more sleepovers.
You know, Ian, if you had an apartment, you wouldn't have been able to do that. But because you had a house.
Oh, maybe this is
that's
good
my
that
segue.
we have our guests.
That's my segue. What are we talking about today?
I don't know. You tell me, man.
We're talking about, the episode's called Keeping Up with the Joneses.
I love that
we're talking about owning a home, owning a condo, just home ownership in general.
Yeah.
And we have a great guest to kind of help break down and dissect all these topics that we want to get across. She's no stranger to home ownership. She's a mother. She's been to 40 of 50 United States. She's a hiker. She's a real estate agent.
She's a boss.
Shannon Schultz. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, guys.
How are you?
To be here. Awesome.
Let everybody know, who you are, what you do.
Yeah. So Shannon, I have lived in Milwaukee for over 40 years. I'm 46. Been here my whole life, all over. Take my kids out constantly to explore different areas of the city. Thank you to Pokemon Go for getting me into neighborhoods I probably wouldn't have normally.
Right.
Yeah.
And
love.
How long have you been dealing and working in real estate?
I would a few years as an actual agent. Flipped a couple houses before that. Did a couple for sale by owners. So definitely have years and years of experience in the industry.
This is going to be great.
And Shannon, I got to be honest with you. You do not look 46 at all.
That's all. Oh my gosh. That's recorded, right? Everybody?
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
I got to play that for my kids.
Yes.
Right? Oh my!
Just loop that over and over and over.
That might become my new ringtone.
Yeah, seriously, tell me what lotion or moisturizer you use or water. Gosh, I got to drink some more water. Gosh,
you got some catching up to do. Ian.
I do. I definitely do.
So I want to get into this whole topic of home ownership because I kind of have a love-hate with owning my house.
The market's hot right now.
It is hot right now. And so it's also hot outside.
Yes.
And one of the things I hate about owning a house is mowing my lawn and doing yard work and renovations and shoveling snow. And I get to the point sometimes where I'm just like, fuck it. I want to sell it and I'm going to get a condo or I'm going to go rent an apartment or something. So I want to get into, is buying a house even a good idea?
That's a great question.
How has COVID changed the way, people shop for homes, how we, people are working from home, how they're appropriating their house and their spaces and what they're looking for. Why have millennials kind of been lagging behind as far as home ownership? Are we due for another housing market crash? And then I kind of want to get into the whole keeping up with the Joneses and kind of my beef with shows on HGTV and stuff like that I feel perpetuate
everyone's favorite love,
everyone wanted to just buy houses they can't afford and fill it with shit that they don't need.
Oh yeah.
And so I kind of want to just get into all these great stuff. So let's just start with why do we even own a home? Is it a good idea, Shannon?
Yeah, you should always buy instead of rent if at all possible because you want to be be paying your own mortgage,
Yes, my
not
parents
somebody else's
love
mortgage.
Love it.
Also, it kind of builds your family's wealth. You know, it leads to generational wealth. That's a big thing with Milwaukee, especially with the previous redlining. It's
Yes.
affected race relations, even in the city of Milwaukee.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, so yes, you definitely should always buy if you can.
So that's what I'm saying. So Shannon, so this is a huge question for me. So like, you know how people are like, oh, I want my dream home, but I don't get it yet, or I don't know what I'm looking for, but they rather settle to rent something. But then why wouldn't you just buy something smaller?
You definitely should do
Thank
that.
you. That's what, man, my parents always said. They're like, oh, you can't, even if you can't afford your dream house yet,
Sure.
Yeah.
buy something smaller
Absolutely.
and grow into it.
Absolutely.
And then like, even if it's tight still, but at least you own it.
Absolutely.
And
You're
so
building
that's-
your own equity, your own wealth.
That's what I try to tell everyone. I was like, oh, I don't know what I want yet. Okay, so, but you rather get an apartment, throw that
And
money
just
away.
throw it away.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It doesn't, and not only that, a lot of apartments now they make you pay all your
Yes,
utilities,
yes.
and a lot of other things. So
Thank you.
you definitely
Yes.
are not saving any money.
That's a great point, Ian, that you make
Yes.
too, because there's a lot of people out there where they're like, well, I can't get my dream house, so
That's what I
why
said.
get it? But I see a lot of people, and Shannon, I don't know if you come across this as well, but I have a lot of friends and people I've known over the years who, they go get their approval for their mortgage, and they're approved for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for a house.
Yeah.
And instead of buying the $150,000 or the $200,000 house that they
Yes.
should,
I
they're
know,
like,
man.
sweet, let's go buy a $500,000
Yeah.
house because that's what we're approved for.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people get trapped in that.
Absolutely.
And I think with this housing boom, are we going to see another housing market crash because people are paying crazy prices for some of these houses now? And it's like, did we learn nothing?
Well, you don't want to be house poor, right? That's the thing,
Absolutely.
right? That's the
Exactly.
big thing. You don't want to just be like living a paycheck just because you got this big fancy house.
I mean,
Right.
you still have to put all of the items in your home.
Yeah,
You still have
very
to
good.
heat your home. You
Yeah.
still have to cool your home. So if it's big,
Furnish it.
yeah, it's
You got 5 bedrooms. That's
Yeah.
5 beds.
Yeah.
And dressers.
No,
and
that's a good point.
pictures.
absolutely. Yeah, not wise.
Not
So
wise,
I
yeah.
got a couple statistics on.
Oh, I love it. He's the stat guy.
I'm
Okay,
the
okay,
stat
okay,
guy.
And I love
I'm
his
the stat
stats.
guy.
I
Let me
love
hear
his
'em.
stats.
Yeah. So home ownership in 2019 was around 64.6%.
Okay.
Which is down from its peak of 69%
Oh, wow.
in 2004 before the Great Recession.
Jeez.
And home ownership in the U.S. varies significantly by race and ethnicity. In 2019, white non-Hispanic homeownership was 73.3% compared to 42.1% among Black Americans, which is the largest gap since the census began in 1994. That's
Wisconsin actually rates the third worst in the nation in Black home ownership. We're only behind, I
Wow.
think it's Montana and North Dakota.
really.
I want to say don't quote me on it, but I want to say it's only at like 23%.
Well, you're probably right because I don't know a lot of black people live there, but you're probably right. So that's right. But geez,
But I want to say, yeah, Black
that's kind of sad.
Wisconsin.
well, it really is.
only at
That's
about
sad.
20.
And,
you
Like,
can-
it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely horrific.
You can trace a lot of that back to when the Federal Housing Act was created in 1934, and after World War II, the government made it easier and less risky for lenders to lend money and people to get mortgages. But it came with the caveat that
Facts.
if you were Black, they
Facts.
weren't. It was almost impossible to get a mortgage, or if you were in an area. Like if the government was going to lend you money or banks were going to lend
Right.
you money, it had to be like 100%
They
Caucasian.
literally pulled out, well, not even, no, actually. So they literally pulled out maps and drew lines around
you could-
neighborhoods.
yeah.
So it was Blacks. They also did it to around Jewish neighborhoods,
Yes,
Polish
yes,
neighborhoods,
yes.
and Italian neighborhoods. But then in the 60s, after the Fair Housing Act, then that was supposed to eliminate a
Yeah.
lot of that. However, there was still a lot more fees for African Americans and
Sure.
Hispanic
Gee,
borrowers.
facts,
So
Sure.
man.
it's still
That's crazy.
And so,
it still affects generational wealth
Oh,
today. I
absolutely.
mean, think about
a
how
great point.
families could be different
great point.
Right.
had they had the opportunities
I
to
agree.
start building equity
Exactly.
generations ago.
I mean, you make a great point. Even when we just started the podcast, where you talk about why owning a house is important, and it is creating wealth and generational wealth.
Yep.
And you have a whole segment of Americans who were kind of denied participation,
Right.
in that, and so they're behind decades, they're behind generations, and so
That's
what
equity you can borrow against to
Yep.
even help your
Yes.
kids get education.
Yep.
I mean,
Sure.
it affects every
Yeah, you could
aspect
do a lot
of life.
things.
It
You're
really
right.
does.
Yeah, you're right.
So what are you seeing as far as like now and like people buying homes and is that like it's hard to find a house, right? like it's almost
It's
impossible.
a buyer's market, right? Right now,
It is absolutely a seller's market.
seller's market.
Seller's
Sorry,
market.
yeah.
Yes, I have gotten crazy creative this summer. One of my clients, I was told by the other agent that their offer was accepted. I mean, they had gotten like 30 offers
Sure.
within the first like 2 days,
Right,
and that
yes.
my client's offer was accepted because I had given them the idea to include. When we toured the house, I noticed they were clearly just had a baby shower. You could see all these brand new baby things, tucked in this nursery in the making. And so I was like, I've had kids. I know what that's like. They're also going to be having to pack up and move. I said, let's work in every week until closing, a $35 Uber Eats gift card.
Ooh.
So they can have dinner delivered to them once a week
Yo, you're
until
so
Well
close.
done. Well
Dude, you're
done.
so
And they
good.
got the house.
You're so
Are you
good,
serious?
Shannon.
So yeah, I mean, it
Dang.
really like this summer was outside the box thinking
good.
100%.
Because
That's where we're at right now.
because there's everyone's competing. Like you're right now,
Yeah.
you're going from like maybe 4 or 5 offers to like you said 30.
It's insane.
Yeah, and they're obviously overbidding and they're overpaying for these
Everything.
houses, right? Everything. Is,
Well, and a lot of buyers are also kind of giving away a lot of their protection. If you have a home inspection contingency,
yes.
a financing
I heard about
contingency,
that,
a lot
yep.
of those are being waived nowadays too. So
because they just want it, right?
Yeah.
They just want it. They
yeah.
see it. I want
and
to
other
get it.
people are willing to waive it or
yeah.
coming in with cash, and so
Right.
that's really their only opportunity. I will say, in the last 2 to 3 weeks in Milwaukee, it has started to settle. There's more
Good.
inventory is
Good.
coming on the market.
Good. Okay.
So it's starting to become a healthy market once again.
Yeah, I can't sell my house. I got turf in the backyard. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You have like just massive AstroTurf. So do you have to mow your lawn?
No, so like my
Do you
backyard, I
golf?
don't. My backyard, no, I can golf on it, but we do everything. We golf, we hit softballs on it, we do everything on it. So the backyard, because I have asthma, I'm allergic to grass.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like my backyard.
Is that why you play indoor soccer?
Yes, exactly. Very good, smooth.
Okay.
but so like my front though,
I'm just gonna
I got
stop you
grass.
really quick. That makes total sense, and I'm kind of embarrassed that I didn't realize you played indoor soccer because of.
No, not
asthma.
because of that, but
Oh.
like it helps though. It's
Okay,
less.
okay.
I'm not.
Anyways,
playing with
keep
the grass.
going. That
I'm not-
just occurred to me, and I was like,
no, I'm not playing with the grass.
ding, ding.
It's better for my asthma, but then my front, I gotta mow my front. But my
Okay.
wife does that because she's nice to me sometimes.
That's nice.
Yeah, sometimes.
Partnership.
Yeah.
I love to have AstroTurf.
Dude, it's crazy. It's hot though. When it gets hot though, your feet burn. man.
Really?
Yeah, when it's hot. But
So Shannon, how has COVID has really changed the way a lot of people are living in their houses? I know for me and my wife now permanently works from home, so we had to take a second bedroom and convert it
Yeah.
into an office.
Smooth.
We completely remodeled our basement
Nice.
and put a gym down there.
let's
Nice.
go.
And,
Look at
yes.
Swole.
Yeah, I had to put like a little temporary office for me for when I was working at home.
Sure.
How have you seen people kind of reapproach what it is they're looking for in a house as far as like space and looking for more?
Ooh, that's a
because
great
I always feel like
question.
people always wanted a
Yes.
home office, but I was like, are you really going to use that, or is that just a want? Whereas
Right.
now it's kind of a
Yeah,
need.
you
Yeah,
don't need that.
absolutely. Oh my gosh, it changed the way people live in their houses totally. And it kind of escalated everybody's house transitions, I think. Either people were like, we basically just hang out in these rooms together. We don't need this giant house. So let's
Yes.
sell it and downsize.
Sweet.
Other
yes.
people realized, maybe all this togetherness isn't so great. Our relationship might be better if we have a little more space.
A little more space. Yeah.
So they're selling that and looking for something bigger.
I love that. That's like so you're getting like a lot of like different views and things now, right? What
Yeah.
people want and stuff,
Right.
which is cool. Because before I was like, I want the big house, I want a lot of space. But you're right. Now people are like, we don't need this space. I don't need
Right.
this big basement. I'm never down here. I
Yep.
don't need a bar anymore, right? I love that.
Actually, people were putting in more bars.
More
Were
bars.
they?
During COVID.
Well, I got a bar. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got a
we
bar
were
in
all
my
drinking
basement.
from home.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, the amount of booze
But
I
no,
went
but
through.
we're over COVID though, right? COVID's done.
Yeah, we're
Please,
done with that.
Please, I'm done.
I don't
with-
know.
I know.
I heard the
don't
numbers are up
know.
again,
I
but
know.
no. But get vaccines. Just let's get it done.
We'll be
Yeah,
fine.
everybody.
Like, just do it. Like, guys, like, if I know people have their own views, I'm just gonna touch base real quick. Let's just get vaccinated.
Please get
Yeah, so that way we all just can
Please,
just go,
please,
right?
please.
And then that way
Yes.
we can buy more houses and sell houses, and then we can have people over at our houses.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Have
That's right.
little house parties.
Yes.
So one thing that I was kind of always aware of, but I never really dug into, was this whole situation with millennials and the kind of how they have fallen behind as far as like home ownership, and what is that going to do to this current generation of homeowners? I found about 28% of older millennials still rent. Another 12%, which this is concerning, are still living with their parents or family members.
Unless they're doing that to save money
That's-
for a
okay.
down payment.
That is
because
true.
I kind of do want to, I wish that some
Yeah.
of that would go away.
Yeah.
Because it is wise.
It is
Right.
very wise.
As long as they're saving the money, though,
Yep.
and not just
like
going
spending
out
it
more.
on going to
Yeah.
Miami Beach.
But all those influencers, Martin, are telling these guys don't buy, rent, right? All those influencers are on Instagram and they're like saying don't. You know, all
You
those
can
big
travel
guys.
more.
Yeah,
Don't commit.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like
it's true.
But that I don't know. I don't agree with that though. I really don't.
So last year, the homeownership rate of millennials aged 33 to 39 was about 53.8%.
That's crazy.
By comparison, about 60% of Gen Xers, you and me, Shannon,
Yep.
own homes at the same age at 62%. Or no, I'm sorry, 53.8%. And baby boomers was 62%.
Yeah.
So there's a massive difference between
Yeah.
millennials and Gen X and baby boomers. And I think a lot of that, I think it's a combination, and this is just my opinion. We'll get you guys too. One is the student loan debts, I think, that millennials
Sure.
have incurred that I don't really know that our generations had to. And then the other, I think there's a lot of trepidation in owning a home because a lot of these young adults, grew up and watched their parents lose their jobs during the recession and lose their homes. And I think there's a lot of trepidation and fear about owning a home and what that can mean as far as like another housing market crash or something. Or I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question, Martin.
Um,
Gosh.
Yeah, all those things. Plus, I would add, so the number of millennials, they're now the largest population of home buying age.
Oh, wow.
So you guys have a lot of power.
Yeah.
You should go out. However, they are duking it out with the baby boomers right now who are also looking to downsize. So millennials are kind of looking to buy their starter houses.
They should. I mean, it's just better. Why wouldn't you want something for your own? Like you just need it, man. Like just do it, man.
Just put that on the loop.
Just tell them, man.
Just
Just-
keep looping.
and hit up Shannon. And hit up Shannon.
100%.
But Shannon, I
I will take good care of you.
right. So obviously the pandemic's passed, but being locked in, you're watching all these shows, right?
Right.
And now you start looking in your house, right? Especially if you own it. You're looking in your house. I can improve this. I can improve
Yes.
that. I'm one of those guys. Okay.
Yep.
I don't know how to do it. Okay.
YouTube.
But that's my problem. So I go on YouTube.
Yep.
It looks so fun and it looks so easy, right? But I'm still scared to try it. And right now, obviously, contractors, they're in high
Booked
demand.
out
They're booked
for
out,
ages,
and
yes.
they cost a lot right now because they can ask for wherever right now.
100%. Yes.
But what would you give somebody that wants to do it? Should we do it? Should we try it? Or what do you think?
So if you have friends, uncles, fathers,
Ooh, so you hit them
mothers,
up.
I would start calling on the older generations who have some experience.
Nice.
Because I will say that probably a lot of millennials weren't raised. I grew up with at 5 a.m. a wall coming down in my house. My father would just be like, yeah, we're going to take this wall down now. So I'd be able to invite my friends over. We'd draw all over it and then take a sledgehammer to it. So I just grew up. I mean, I could change my own oil. We just grew up doing everything,
Sure.
I think, Gen Xers. Millennials, I don't think, had that opportunity as much. Most of their parents were both working. They probably hired out a lot more things. They didn't have experience watching these things. So I would say I would watch This Old House.
Is that show still on?
Yes. I would watch some
what's his name
HGTV.
still?
HGTV.
I don't know. And then YouTube the hell out of everything.
You can find anything.
Find multiple.
But are you willing to try that? Like it's like a mechanic.
You
I
can only.
watched the
So I
mechanic
mean,
thing,
I
I'm not
probably
doing
wouldn't
that.
start with like electrical work
Okay,
or
okay.
some major
Or plumbing.
plumbing,
Oh,
unless
that's a
you.
good point. So
I
what
mean,
I'm
if
gonna
you ha-
replace
if you
my
have
main
two
stack.
bathrooms- If you have 2 bathrooms, start with like the guest bathroom.
Or the one in the basement
Or the
that's
one
just
in the
a toilet.
basement. Yes. Every Wisconsin house has
Yes.
a toilet in the basement.
We redid that room, and it actually is. It's a quite lovely spot to
Real.
Nice.
have some alone time and
Nice.
Be away
As an
from-
agent, I have seen some very creepy basement.
where there's not even a wall around it. It's just a toilet in the middle of the bathroom
Oh yeah,
or basement.
absolutely.
So you're saying like start with like maybe
Start with
the
small things.
like the floor or something. Tile
Absolutely.
it out, right? Get
And
the
your
laminate
confidence
out.
will grow.
Okay.
If you do one thing,
Okay.
you're going to feel more empowered to do your next thing.
Okay, I'm gonna take
Like tile
okay.
work, that's easy.
That's easy, yeah.
Boy, see, I don't feel
Even
like
if
that
you
would be
just-
No, I did tile.
Even if you just
Really?
demo.
Yeah, but not on my-
Even demoing. I mean, that saves you a lot of money right there
That's true.
as
That's
well,
true.
though.
demoing. I can do. I can swing a
Wow,
sledgehammer.
I bet you could do. Yeah,
That I
can do.
demos
I can
and
rip
I
some
know.
shit out.
I believe that.
Putting it back
believe
in.
that.
I know. I agree. I agree.
So, Ian, you brought up HGTV.
Yeah, man.
And this is
I'm
this is
hooked.
a little bit of the meat and potatoes of this episode
Hooked.
of Keeping Up with the Joneses that I wanted to get into because when HGTV had a lot of their shows on Netflix a couple years back before it ended up getting pulled, I just binged
Yep.
Yeah.
on Caribbean Life and Property
Yep.
Brothers and Love It or List It and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things that kind of frustrated me about the show was like they'll have something like, newlyweds Jonathan and Shanice are in their early 20s and they're searching for a new house for their family. And Jonathan's a stay-at-home dad and Shanice has her own Etsy store and they have a budget of $723,000.
Right.
And I'm like, how the fuck do you guys have that kind of budget
Sure.
to do something
Yeah.
like that? And then you see them go in there and they're like, yeah, we need to gut the kitchen. Okay, that's gonna be $7,000. And I'm like, really? It's only $7,000? Oh,
Yeah.
we need to gut the bathroom. Oh, that's gonna be $2,500. And I'd like be looking at my house and be like, you know what, we need to do this stuff. Like, look at how gorgeous these houses are and these
Yeah.
Well, you wanna
young,
keep up,
these
right? You
young
wanna keep up
kids,
with the
yeah,
Joneses.
are-
Yeah, like-
and so I guess, Shannon, is keeping up with the Joneses a real thing? And does HGTV, do all those shows kind of perpetuate people wanting to?
I'm sure they do. Absolutely. I mean, you want to keep up with a stay-at-home dad who lives in a $700,000 house. You're going to feel bad otherwise.
Yeah.
No, and I get that there's trends, right? There's stuff like the white cabinets right now, and then it's getting away from the, I get those trends, right?
Yeah.
Brass is in now.
But for me,
Yeah, brass is bad.
right? But for me, I'm all about like
Put that on a
what
t-shirt.
your place. Does it make you happy? Like it's stuff that
See,
you like. I don't want to keep up.
I
or
am not
look
a
at
keep
mag-
up with the Joneses
Exactly.
person. I'm a simple girl from the South
Yeah.
Side, so that's not my thing. But I'm sure there are a lot of
Like
people who
rustic
do.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I love.
I'm
those
not a
terms.
trend follower.
Yeah, exactly. I love those terms. I want it rustic. I want it modern, rustic. You know what? I want it how I want it to look like. If I want bar stools, if I want this, if I want that, I'm gonna put it in. I'm not gonna look at a magazine and be like, oh, I love those colors and everything. I'm gonna do that. No, if I do like it, I might do it. But my house is gonna look like how I want.
It's
it
going to
look.
be your space because
Yes,
that's
thank
where
you.
you want to be happy. I would say people should invest more in classic things.
Yes, I love
The
that.
only trendy like investments you should make are more on like little finishes, like your
Yes.
knobs in your kitchen
Yeah.
or a light fixture. Like you can bring in some of those things or decorative items. But I would say as far as your tile work, those types of things, just
Yeah.
stay as classic as possible. Also, you don't know when you're going to want to sell.
Right.
And this way,
But laminate,
you
we
have
gotta be done with
God
laminate.
forbid you
We
put
got
in
laminate.
mint green
But
Don't tell me
some of
countertops.
them, some of it's really durable.
Really?
It like actually feels and looks a lot like wood now.
Wow.
And tile. Like they have
Oh.
there's a lot of fake wood options that
I
are
didn't know
actually
this.
pretty good and durable.
Let's go. Dang, okay, so then I'm gonna tackle on some things, man. I think I gotta do it. For sure.
So
I want before and after pics.
So here's another thing that me and my wife have been contemplating as we've had our house for 11 years.
Nice.
We're fortunate enough that we've tried to put down every penny we can extra to our mortgage payment. When we get our tax
Yep.
returns,
Yep.
we'll take a bunch of it,
Awesome.
put it towards it. And so we're getting really close to having it paid off. And the
That's
closer we
awesome.
get,
that is awesome.
the more disdain I have for like all the yard stuff and just
Sure.
the all the extra things that I have to do and money I have to spend. And we're looking more and more at getting like a condo
Condos.
downtown.
Sure.
So I guess Shannon, here's the next part of this
Yes.
episode is house versus condo. Like what are
Yeah.
the pros and cons of each? No pun intended. What are the pros and cons of owning a house versus owning a condo?
Yeah. So, like you said, I mean, if you are somebody who loves to tinker around in your yard and you have a dog that you kind of just want an open space, that's a house is great. If you're somebody who likes to be gone on the weekends and
Me.
doesn't want to shovel in the winter, would love
true.
a pool and
Me.
a nice fitness center and
Also
all these
me.
amenities that they
Dang,
probably
you're
wouldn't be
making
able to afford to put into their house, then a condo is
Ooh.
definitely for you.
Yeah. 'Cause
However,
I had both.
You do
Yeah.
have additional monthly fees then.
Yes.
So you have to work that into your
Yeah.
budget because those association
That
fees
was-
That's what
can
drives me
be
nuts.
very pricey.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you pay your condo mortgage off, not only do you have property taxes, but then you have condo fees.
You
So you could
still are
still be
paying
paying
those.
$700,000, $800,000, $900,000 a month for something you own.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I struggle with that.
Well, that's why. So I was in a
Absolutely.
condo before, obviously moving the whole family up because we're Canadian. Let's go. And they're from Indiana, though.
We should
and
do
I'm-
shots every
and I-
time Ian
right?
says I'm Canadian.
Yeah, I'm Canadian. Gotta know it. Jeez. But like, I just want people to know when they hear my accent or they hear some words, they're like, oh, okay, we got to give him a pass. He's Canadian. But no, I had a condo, and Martin, that was the same problem. So I'm paying your mortgage, and then you're paying those condo fees, which are
Yup.
great because like, people are cleaning up, anything gets broken
Yeah,
down,
right,
you fix it.
right.
But my problem was I could never do anything. Like I had to ask for permission.
Yes.
Like, so I'm here, I'm owning this thing, but technically I'm not because I have to ask, can I put a flat screen on? Can I drill through
Right.
this wall? Like, can I
Sure.
switch the countertops? And
Mm-hmm.
some people like, no, you can't do it. So I'm just like, dude, the homeowner association, there was a meeting and I almost went there. And I was like, man, this is a bunch of bull. I'm like, this is boring. Like, this is what you guys are worried about? Should you cut the grass on this day? When are we watering? When's the? I was like,
I want countertops.
Yeah,
I want countertops.
Gosh. And I'm like, this is what you guys are really talking about? I'm like, this is probably not for me. I think this is maybe when I get a little older. But like, yeah, that was my problem. I just couldn't handle it. So that's why I was like, I'm going to buy. I'm going to own it and I can do whatever I want to it, right?
Yes.
So I just feel like, I don't know, that's why I struggle.
You have to be
with it.
careful even with houses, though, because there are...
If you live in like villages
yes.
and...
You can't put a giant T-Rex in your front
Yeah, there's certain
yard.
ones you can't have a
You're right,
shed.
you're
Or
right.
some
Okay.
of them now, I mean... Since COVID, there's a yard sign for everything, right?
Sure.
Any kid
Yep.
who goes to any school, any like teacher, obviously nurses, heroes. But yeah, there's yard signs for everything. A lot of those neighborhoods, you can't put a yard sign out even.
Really?
So yeah, you do have to be careful.
I know
when
there's
you're
rules
buying
like
a
that.
house.
Yeah, my area, yeah.
Or they might even have dues each month.
Really?
I mean, they're very insignificant
Yeah.
Sure.
opposed to a condo, but
Jeez.
So, my next question is there opportunity in renting? Because when you talk about a house, you talk about, okay, yeah, when it's paid off, you have your property taxes, but there's still the upkeep of a house. There's roofs and there's,
Yeah.
AC units and there's getting
Sure.
mulch and
Yeah.
all the
Right.
remodeling. A condo, you have condo fees. Renting is obviously significantly cheaper monthly. Yes, you're
talking
throwing your
about
money away.
you renting or renting out a house.
Just renting in general, an
Oh, okay.
apartment. I mean, is there opportunity in that? Because when you think about how much money you pay on interest for your mortgage and 30 years worth of roofs and mulch and lawnmowers and all that, is a house even a good investment, or is it just a place to stash some money? And is there opportunity in renting if, let's say you get free water or
That's a big
electricity or
question.
something?
Yeah, that's a big
I mean,
question.
would you ever
Jeez.
recommend renting to someone, or?
I really wouldn't.
Nice. I love
I
that
just
shit.
don't
Look how
think I
excited
would.
Ian is.
No,
Dude, because I
just don't
agree
think I
with her,
would.
man.
Were you
everyone's
getting
like,
worried she was going to say,
dude, I was like, no.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, guys, I'm going to tell the kids we're selling. We're going in right now. But like, I agree with that. I just,
No,
I
I just,
agree.
yeah,
I agree.
I just don't.
I just don't see enough upside for me.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
just don't see, like, maybe if you're there for like a month and then you're going to buy something and I get that. But I throwing away money for a year or 2 years, it doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't sit well.
In the
with me.
wise words of one
Yeah.
of my favorite rappers, NF.
Oh,
My intent is not to rent. I like to own what I value.
Hey,
that I'm 100% going to have
This
to
girl
put in one of
does
the, like the
it all,
soundbite
man.
video
This
clips.
girl does
But
it
were you
all.
hanging on to that for this whole like 30 minutes so far?
No, I can pretty much come up with a song lyric for
Oh
anything.
my gosh.
she's hip. Okay. She's got some
Ian,
swag.
what's your least favorite thing about owning a home?
Oh my gosh, I got a bunch. Like I love owning a home, but I
Yeah.
got a bunch. But like you said, if something breaks
Mm-hmm.
down, you're on the hook. If stuff happens. Obviously, if something little happens, you gotta fix it. Like you said, like AC unit, water heaters, all that. Like you're fixing it. Obviously, the roof if something happens. But again, if nothing bad, you just need a new roof. It's coming out of your pocket. But I can handle that part. I get it. It's life. But the part is like the upkeep, right?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
need to cut your grass,
Yeah.
right? You can hire somebody if you want, but regardless,
Then you might as well get a condo and pay fees.
because yeah, exactly. But you have to make sure you maintain it because you don't want to be that guy,
Right.
And it's not keeping up with those, but you just don't want to be that. Oh, well, look at that guy's yard. Look at how
Every
he's
time
got,
the neighbors walk
that
past
sort
your
of thing. They
house,
got bikes
look at the
everywhere.
Bennett's
Yeah, exactly.
crap all over the
It's
front
same,
yard.
like,
Right?
you have to be careful. Like you have to
Exactly.
make the upkeep is like that's
Yes.
so true. You have
Yes.
to like look at your painted trim. If
Yes.
it's cracking, like get it
Yes.
fixed because otherwise you're going to get water in there, and then that's
Yes.
going to lead to another
Your
bigger
foundation's
problem.
cracking.
Right.
If you're got a
That's
water,
Clean your gutters on a regular
Yes.
schedule.
No one cleans their gutters. Oh my
Have you
gosh,
ever-
Shannon,
Have
yes.
your
No one
yeah.
I don't know
cleans
how
their
often
gutters.
you guys go on walks in your neighborhoods, but do you have a house in your neighborhood where every time you walk past it, you look at the gutters and there's a whole ass forest growing in it, and you're like,
Yes.
how do you?
Not good. That's why
My
you gotta,
kids,
like,
even when they were little, we'd be driving like in the winter, and they'd be like, "That house needs some more
See?
insulation in
See?
their attic because look at all their icicles." Like,
Yeah, right.
they know,
That is,
right?
well, hey, well
They'd
done
be
on
like
raising
8.
them. To,
Right? They're like, they got insulation problem.
They'd be like, "I wish we had icicles like that." I'm
Yeah.
like, too bad we have insulation.
right? That's a good point.
Ian,
that's
what's
the hard part.
What's the last renovation you did in your house?
The last?
Yeah, or like the
Oh.
last room that you.
So I'm a big painter because
Okay.
I think it's therapeutic for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like my wife and my kids cannot touch, like if they want their rooms painted, like I'll do it.
Dad's
Like, they
gotta
know.
do it.
They know not even to touch it because they just rush through it. It looks ugly. So they just get it everywhere. I'm like I do the setup. I do it like I love that. That's my painting. So I think the last time I painted a bathroom, but I think the last big thing was I actually painted my cabinets, and they actually came out really good. We sand them. I'll never do it
Did you
again.
spray them?
Yeah. No. So we
By
I
hand?
paint because
Nice.
they're
Okay.
smaller, right?
Roller. Okay.
So and then we sanded them down. We did everything because they're wood, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's
nice.
you don't want to get rid of them because we wanted new cabinets. But I was listening to home. No, you don't want to do it. You got wood. Those are amazing. Sand them down. Do what I'm like. Okay, I did it. Never again, Martin.
Really?
Never again.
Did
Never. It looks good.
But it
Never
took.
again.
Was it like?
And we changed the fixtures. I look like a boss, but still,
Did
never
it take
again.
forever?
Ever.
Those are hard because there's
Forever.
lots of nooks and crannies.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
See, that's why when I watch
That's hard.
HGTV shows
yeah, it's
and they
bull.
want to do it,
It's
they
bull.
come. These
It's bull,
dudes
yeah.
come in with
It's not
dual
fair.
sprayers and
Yes.
Yes.
It's not fair, dude.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
And in 45
Absolutely.
minutes, the cabinets are done.
Everything's done. Yeah,
Right.
it's not fair. They're taking them down. They're doing. It was a name. No.
Shannon, what's the last room that you renovated?
Oh gosh. Trying to think. It's been a long time, actually.
What about your flip? What about your house? Did you
My
flip?
office, I guess, would have been the last room that was done in my house.
Was that because of COVID?
No, it was before. I was a communication consultant, and so I needed.
Sweet.
And I also homeschooled my
sure.
kids up
Sweet.
until they got to high school, and so
Nice.
yeah, I kind of needed a quiet place to go. So
Okay.
my office.
Okay, well, Shannon, do you like flipping? Do you think flipping is a good investment, or is it kind of like almost gambling? Like it's
If anyone's contemplating flipping, I would do a lot of self-reflection
okay,
and figure out if you're somebody who's good with stress or not.
okay.
Once you open that can of worms,
So
there's
that's what I'm
always
saying.
more things.
So Shannon, maybe if you wanted to flip, maybe you do a small house, right?
Yes.
And just see how it goes, right?
And just cosmetic things.
Yes.
I would
okay,
start
perfect.
with just that.
Because I want to do that. I really want to do that, but I'm just too scared to tackle on a big
Yeah.
house. I want to do something really,
Buy
really
a house
small.
that hasn't been touched since the 50s, 60s.
Well, you
and
see that on
just update it.
HGTV. You'll
Yeah,
see people
man.
they'll buy a house. There's one that I watch called beachfront renovations, where they'll buy a house and they don't even get inspected, and then they start ripping everything out,
Yeah.
and they take out the
Right.
floor and termites.
Water
have
damage.
yeah.
Exactly.
Or guess what? We
There's
need to put in a
always-
$15,000 beam to support
there's
the roof,
always
and I'm
more
like,
than you
the
think.
hell would you not?
Absolutely.
That's intense.
That's why I don't want to do
I
that.
why I wanna do a
also
small
wouldn't
one.
do it with a friend because
No, I
that
don't.
would be-
I don't.
That's
make
how
business.
relationships
Yeah.
end.
No.
So yeah.
No, definitely don't do that.
Shannon, do you have any tips for first home buyers?
Ooh, yeah. What do you look for?
tips?
Yeah, what's the
Like,
best
let's
thing?
say
good bones.
We're a young
structure.
couple.
Yeah.
Where me and Ian are 23-year-old
Yes.
newlyweds.
Yep.
We got
Hey.
$723,000 to
you
spend on
taking
a
me
house.
out? Are you taking me out? Are you taking me out? You better be taking me out.
What advice would you give us?
All right. Your very first thing would be to call me.
Oh.
And then
And where can they reach you at?
Dang, that's
Plug-
sweet.
plug yourself.
Smooth. That was good.
my cell, you could text me, would be 414-698-1747.
Hey, I like
Email
that.
is schultz@kw.com.
Sweet.
Instagram handles @gilded.living.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so give me a call. I have a ton of resources. I have lenders that are really great with people who are looking to refinance or, go into their second or third home. I have lenders that I work with that I think I'd send a lot of my first-time home buyers to because they just are very good at explaining the entire process and doing a little bit. I mean, I don't mean hand-holding in a bad
Yeah,
way, but
yeah.
they're just a little more thorough.
That's the
yeah.
biggest thing, though, right? You got to see how much you can actually afford
Yes.
and buy before you
So
start looking
if
at
you
everything.
contacted, an agent like myself, then we would kind of lay out the entire process,
Sweet.
timing, those types of things, get you in touch with a lender that we know would take good care of you.
Yes.
So that would be then your very next call because you want to know how much you can afford.
Yeah.
Sure.
They would go over to, your closing costs. That's kind of a hidden thing that a lot of
Yeah,
first-time
that
home
is.
buyers aren't aware that there are. So you need all your finances kind of in order.
First,
and
right?
they'll give you a list of all your documents that you're going to need. You're going to need to pull out a whole lot of house stuff.
Okay, so let's just say you're approved for 200,000,
Yep.
right? What is it like Martin said? What is the best? What are you looking for to buy a house? What do you need? Are you looking for strong bones? Is it got to be new? Is it got to have? I don't know.
I would say, a one bedroom, if you were looking for the condo route, a one bedroom would be cheaper than a two bedroom. If you can ever buy something 2 or more bedrooms, definitely always go for more bedrooms.
Okay.
It helps with the resale value for sure.
Sweet. Okay.
So
Or
you
a
definitely always
den or
want to look
something.
for bedroom counts and bathroom counts.
Damn. Okay.
Those are definitely good. You want to, I would say make sure it's in a good neighborhood. Your agent should be able to tell you kind of what the values have looked like in the
Yes.
neighborhood. They can't, however, especially it's something I'm very sensitive to, is tell you if a neighborhood's a good neighborhood or not a good neighborhood.
Well, by
I
the
would
school
just
rating,
provide
though, don't you?
Well, that is something I would advise my clients to look
That's
to
what
look
we do,
into
yeah.
legally.
Yeah.
Agents are not supposed to give any of that type of information.
Well, if it's a bad kind of school, like then you know that area is kind of. I mean, that's how I judge it on. But I mean, there's always good schools and bad schools. So it's
I don't
but
have kids. So
agents, we don't get into
Must
any of
be
that.
nice,
We would
right?
just
Must be
advise
nice.
you to kind of do your own
Sure,
research.
sure.
I don't want to give any opinions on any of that.
So then,
type
if
of
he
stuff.
doesn't have any kids, what should he be looking for? Should he be looking like for this like Playboy mansion, or should he just?
Well,
be
I'm
looking
married.
I know, but like,
Is that like Jen lets me have
right? But like, what's he supposed to be looking for? 'Cause,
strippers
like,
and cocaine all around my...
because like for me, it's different, right? I got kids.
Yeah.
I want like a backyard and
Right.
space. What
Yep.
does this guy need? Like bars? Does he need like? What, does he need an outside living? Does he need like a yoga mat? Like, what does he need if he's just like him and his wife? Because it's gonna be different needs than
We just learned he needs 2 offices and a gym.
Right.
That's so wicked.
You know, when me and Jen were looking for a house, you know, we were still on the fence about having kids. We weren't
Yeah.
sure. So we knew we at least wanted a 2-bedroom just
Sure.
in case.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we wanted something with a basement that if need be, we could transform it into something. We didn't want one of those basements that, you know, you walk down the steps and you peek your head around the corner and you're like, that's never going to work ever.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when we came across our house, we looked at it and it was perfect. It was much more affordable than it was cheaper than renting almost, and it had a lot of opportunity in it. It had good bones. You know, it was built in I think 1939, so it wasn't one of those like prefab houses now that, you know, those cookie cutter houses that are going to last you know, 20 years. And you know, that's what we pulled the trigger on. But we never were looking for like some McMansion in Brookfield or something like that had like 5 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms and all this stuff.
But did you want to entertain people though? Like
we did, but
that's what I was saying.
we wanted enough space for us and a little bit of space and opportunity in case we needed to do a gym or something in our office, and that was what the basement was for.
Yeah, that's the other thing. People, you know, with everybody, well, not everybody, with a lot of people having transient lifestyles now.
Yes.
So you want to factor in if you're going to be having family and friends
what
come
I'm
to
saying,
stay.
yeah.
You need to look into some of those things too.
Yeah, and entertain, because I think my house is cool, but I need some more like, I don't know, I want it more entertainment friendly. Like I want to have more like, I don't know, I gotta open some
Putting green.
Yeah, I gotta open it up a little bit
Trampoline.
more. Trampoline. My kids
Roller
are not allowed
coaster.
trampolines. No, I want to knock some walls though.
Yeah.
I think I gotta have you over. You gotta let me know what walls I can knock out, because I want to knock.
I'm coming over.
Yeah, I want to open it up.
Shannon, do you have any advice for, you know, new home buyers if they do take out a mortgage and they're not like, you know, Shanice and Jonathan who have $700,000? One of my biggest things, me and my wife, was we wanted to pay our house off as fast as we could, because when you really look at how much money you pay in interest, it's shocking.
Yes.
It's shocking.
Absolutely.
And when we refinanced from a 30-year, so 2 years in, we refinanced to a 15-year mortgage, and we knocked off $91,000 in interest. So, do you have any advice for, you know, new home buyers where to help them make sure that, you know, because mortgages are 30 years, but you also don't want to wait the whole time. Like if you can pay it off early, pay it off early. My question that I'm getting to is, do you have any advice for new home buyers or people who own a house now to try and get their house or condo paid off faster?
Absolutely. If you can do that, you definitely should. I know when you close, you should definitely also make sure that you are aware if your lender has penalties for you paying additional each month. There are lenders who you will, there will be a penalty if you pay extra towards your loan each month.
That's crazy.
Like, that's a real thing.
Sometimes I do. Oh, I gotta check that. Gosh.
So you do have to be careful with that.
Could you imagine if you're paying like an extra $200
That's what I was
and then you're
thinking.
getting fined like $225?
Yeah.
Well, because right? If it's a fixed number though, right? Sometimes you're right? If they want you, I don't know.
I'm not. I mean, each lender does everything differently. But when you close, they will give you that schedule, and it'll say like, okay, here's your 30-year, and it'll have each individual payment for each month for 30 years, and it'll show your loan and what you go. And so, if you can pay that off sooner, that's money in your pocket.
Money in my pocket.
That's nice.
Just like your car,
And that's
man.
always a good thing.
Final question. Let's
Keeping
go
up
around
with
the
the
room.
Jones.
Ian,
Keeping up with
you can
the
only pick
Jones.
one
Oh,
for the rest of your life.
gosh.
House or
my.
condo?
I can only. That's easy. House, 100%. I mean, am I having kids or?
Well, you have kids.
You have
That's what I'm
kids.
saying.
Are you having more? Is there something we don't know?
Hell no. No, I
So you
love
can
my
only have
kids.
one, house or condo. You can only have one for the rest of your life.
So even when my kids go, and they go to school, go to college.
Someone says it's the game of life. Have you ever played the game of life?
Yeah.
And you have to go
That's
like
what I'm
left or
saying.
right. Left is
Ooh.
house, right is condo. Which one do you pick?
And when I'm old, and so I don't know, I can maintain it. I'm going house. I'm going
Okay,
house.
Shannon.
House.
Keep me young.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, I'll keep you
Condo.
young. Yeah. Condo?
I
You're so lazy, bro.
I am lazy.
You're so lazy. Must
want a
be
condo.
Nice. You just want to travel. You want to do everything. You want people.
Speaking of travel, we're going to get off topic really quick.
Yeah.
Well, next week we have a great guest. My friend Colin. He's going to be coming on for a travel episode. He's a YouTuber. He's got millions of subscribers.
Dang.
He travels all around the world. Shannon, I found out a little bit of information. You've been to 40 of the 50 states.
I
No
have.
way.
I think 40.
No
actually,
chance.
I think just over 40. Maybe
Doing
42,
what?
43.
Wait, doing
I've
what?
been to 47. We were
That's
supposed to do
awesome.
50.
What?
Last summer, we were supposed to do Kansas and Nebraska, and then our 10-year wedding anniversary and State 50 was going together. All together was going to be
wow.
Hawaii.
Well, what do you
We've
guys
done
do?
50 together.
Guys,
me
what
and
are
my
you guys
wife.
Okay,
doing in all
that's
these
super
states?
cool.
What are you guys
That's
doing?
super cool.
What are you guys doing? Seriously, in all these states?
So how do?
My family, so I grew up, we did not have very much money at all, but my parents, my mom, her big priority was to travel. And so we did it crazy cheap. I mean, we ate every meal in our car or our tiny motel room.
So you're just sightseeing. You're just seeing stuff.
But we just went around. I will say I also am very, very fortunate to have like close family are spread across the country.
Nice.
So
you could stay with people sometimes.
Maybe I'm just different.
How many states have you been to? How many provinces
I
have
don't
you
know,
been to?
but that doesn't get like I'm not gonna go to a place just because I want to see this. I don't know. It doesn't do it.
I
like
love
vacation.
seeing like how other people
Serious?
live, and I love to go to like a local bar and just sit down and I just like
I
talk
could
to
do
people.
that. But I'm thinking, are you guys like sightseeing? Like, are you seeing statues? Are you seeing like bridges?
I
And does
usually
that
go
get you
see a
going?
couple of like the big things, but
Okay,
then
that
I
doesn't get me.
generally just ask locals like what to do.
Because
I
that
love
doesn't
the, I love the, I
I
love
just
seeing
like
the
seeing-
culture,
yeah.
the way people
Right.
live, talk, eat, how the cities are put together.
Okay, I'm cool with that, but I'm not sightseeing. Like, I'm not trying to go and.
I don't
see,
do
like-
a ton of tourist
Okay, yeah,
stuff.
okay, good. Then we're cool. Then I'll do that then.
Like I go to Nashville at least once a year because I have
just in
family there.
Nashville.
I've only been to Broadway
Is
like
Nashville
2
amazing?
times.
I've heard Nashville's.
I just like I don't do the
cool, but
honky
overwhelming.
tonks, all that. Like I don't do the main honky tonks very much.
Okay.
Shannon, thank you so much for hopping on this
This was
episode.
fun.
Shannon's the real deal.
Again, where can people find you?
At gilded.living on Instagram, or feel free to text anytime 414-698-1747.
Yeah, people gotta make sure you listen, subscribe, do your thing, man. Go download these episodes. Find where all your podcasts
You guys
You're
are
gonna
awesome.
find this. You're gonna. Oh my gosh, thank you.
You guys are awesome.
We gotta blow the show up. Wisconsin first, and then the world, and then the world. But Wisconsin, we need you. Gotta get behind us. Let's go, baby. Thanks for listening.
Catch us on our social at Said No One Pod.
See you next time.
The next topic you never knew you wanted to hear about.
So what is, for you guys, what's something that you've learned from traveling or because of travel? Like what has travel taught you about people, about cultures, about countries and stuff like that? What have you learned from it, or what's kind of your takeaway? What has travel done for your soul and your mind?
For me, it's
Boy, that's a deep question.
yeah, and I have like my answer is that minus language barrier, maybe some cultural differences. When it comes to the core of people all around the world, everybody is the same.
Yeah, man.
Like everybody just wants to be loved. They want to be surrounded by family, friends, and just be happy. And just to be able to live without having to try to survive. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Live instead of survive.
I feel like the only thing that separates us are the images our governments put on our countries.
Yep.
So when you look at a place
totally.
like, when you look at a place, another country,
Yeah.
Sure.
and you just see what's on the news about their government and whatnot, you automatically kind of associate that with the people.
Sure,
as well,
sure.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true,
but
yeah.
that's not true at all.
Yeah.
That's right.